Hello, everybody. Welcome to Late Night Football. Welcome to our first match day preview show of the season. Actually, it's we didn't do one last week. But we're doing one today, and we've got the dream team back again, sort of. We've got Gaurav from the show. Gaurav, welcome. It's nice to see you again.
Thank you, Rich. It's always good to be on the show.
Yeah, it's your first show for the new season, so it's great to have you. And yeah, hopefully the first of many. Yeah, it's ironic, isn't it? Gaurav comes after Haaland scores 2 goals because he really wants to talk about that. That's what he wants. Yeah, no, just kidding. And then we got Knayha as well on the show. Knayha, welcome back. Nice to have you again.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. Let's get into it. Let's get right into it. And actually, you know what? We'll start off with you, Knayha, because this is something that it's something on my mind as well. I'm sure it's on a lot of people's minds. Are we in a new era of like top strikers? This is a season of top strikers. Because think about it, you've got Erling Haaland, you've got Darwin Nunez, you've got Harry Kane, Heung-Min Son, and you've also got Gabriel Jesus. You've got 5 top strikers. Maybe Chelsea might sign one, but at the moment, at least you've got 5 top strikers that you could say could all be genuine contenders for the Golden Boot this season.
Well, I don't remember the last three you said, but definitely the first
Kane,
two.
Son, and Jesus. Come on.
Exactly. But that's kind of thing. They're almost like forgotten now, and nobody's actually talking about them. And the only talk nobody's even looking at that. Spurs scored 4 and Kane didn't score 1. Son didn't score 1, and and Jesus, the most talked about player, didn't score a goal. But then here comes Haaland and here come Nunez, and they're like on fire already. So yeah, definitely we're in it's a league of its own right now in my mind. And the whole hype around Haaland just gives it a little more, just makes it a little more kind of enticing to watch how Nunez does, because nobody's talking about him, but he just quietly came on and changed the game. Even like for a struggling Liverpool in that match, to be frank. But then Haaland did what Haaland does. Like his pace is just his biggest, or his size and everything, his biggest attribute. But then just with that whole, like, he's huge, and then he's still able to accelerate and leaving the defense for the dust in a way and opening up his body and scoring. That was just beautiful to watch. But I would just say, like, this league is just now suddenly become the most enticing, at least in the forward business. It's just like too good to be like ignore. Like all of them are, and that's amazing for us as fans, but also for these players individually, because the main thing also is like not for Haaland, like he's not in the World Cup, but then all the others will be representing their countries at the World Cup as well. So like, what's the pressure like? How are they going to cope with it, and so on? So and these are like Haaland and Nunez are the new ones, but then Kane, Son, and then Jesus are like the known properties in the Premier League. So that's very interesting to watch, and it's mouth watering to be actually just talking about these 5 at different clubs playing the best that we have seen.
And for those, somebody might be going and talk. I mean, for the few people, the people that watch this show, they might go, "Well, you missed a few people." I know I missed Salah. I know I missed Diaz. I think he's talking about strikers. I do count Son as a striker because I think him and Kane play as strikers, even though they generally Son sometimes plays a winger. But I do see him as a striker. But yeah, no, you still got Salah. You got Diaz. You got maybe. You got a few supporting cast members as well. You got Tony. You've got Mitrovic as well. I don't think they're going to win the Golden Boot, but you still got those guys as well hovering in and around. So you've got.
We got Kulusevski.
Well, yeah, Kulusevski is a winger though, but yeah, I mean, yeah, you could count him as well if you wanted to. Yeah, and you got a lot there, a lot of forward talent this season on show. I mean, it's almost like I mean, a couple of years ago it was the defenders and fullbacks. Now it looks like it's the forwards. It's like the Premier League keeps finding ways to reinvent itself and they make certain positions more exciting.
It definitely is. If you look at all the teams, I think almost all the teams have 2 top players in their forward line. I mean, most of the teams.
Yeah, 19 out of 20.
Yeah.
Well, 18. I'm still not sure about Nottingham Forest. So 18 out of 20, I would say.
But they're going to sign somebody at least in the
They said 14 players. They said 14 players already. Yeah, I know 14 players. I certain clubs, Leicester are still yet to sign one. They're almost getting close to signing one. Nottingham signed 14. But anyway, sorry, I interrupt you, Gaurav. Yeah, go ahead. 18 out of 20, yeah. So
yeah, 18 out of 20. And if you look on the paper, I think Spurs have could be controversial, but I think they have the best front 3 in the league right now. No, I mean, City have Haaland,
Oh
but
my God.
Yeah, no, that's just gotta jinx it. Yeah, we edit this out. I'm gonna edit this out.
no,
I'm gonna cut
no,
this out.
really. If you look at Son, Kane, and then Kulusevski. For City, you have Haaland, but you don't really have top player to complement him. I mean, we have Mahrez and Foden.
What has he?
I know.
Kevin De
Seriously.
Bruyne,
Yeah, so almost
Mahrez,
Mahrez, Foden. You
Grealish,
got Mahrez, Foden. You got well. I mean, if you want to count De Bruyne,
Bernardo.
yeah, Bernardo Silva, and then you've got
Bernardo plays more of a midfield role.
Alvarez. You
I'm
got
just talking the
Alvarez. You got
front three.
Julian Alvarez. You got so many top.
He's still unproven, right? I mean, you won't put up.
He's an international player
He
now.
scored 17 goals in the Argentinian league. Like in come on.
He's an Argentinian international. Phil Foden's going to be a starter for England.
Yeah, but is he as good as Son? I wouldn't say that.
Gaurav, let me ask
or
you,
any of them.
Okay, Gaurav, let me ask you: are you Nishikant in disguise? Because I need to ask, especially Nishikant in disguise. Are you Siddhant in disguise? This is just Chelsea fan talking. Like this is Chelsea fan 2020.
Not really. I'm not just saying City. I think even Liverpool. I mean, they have Salah, they have Nunez.
I can see Liverpool. Okay, they might be on par with City, but Spurs, I don't know. On par, I can say yes. I don't think Spurs have a better forward line than City. But anyway, sorry, yes.
That's why I said it might be a controversial opinion, but I think they have the on paper they have the best front three. But there are some gaps in their squad. Their midfield is not as good as you compare them to, especially City. But yeah, definitely, it's going to be a really, really exciting season with all the top forwards playing for most of the teams.
Yeah, definitely. I think that'll be an exciting season if you're a fan of certain clubs. But since we talk about Phil Foden, Gaurav, let me ask you this question. What do you think is his best position in Manchester City? Because, I mean, I know people talk about Haaland and De Bruyne and all that, but I always wonder, what is Phil Foden's best position? Because he's played he started the last game on the right, he's played as a false nine, he's played on the left. I have my opinion on that, but I just want to know, what do you think is Phil Foden's best position right now for Manchester City?
For me, I think he plays the best when he plays on the left wing. He provides that width. He has that pace. His acceleration is really, really good, and he also tries to, always wants to take on the defenders. So I think that left wing position is the best for him. But I can see him moving to midfield, in a couple of seasons when he, matures a little bit more.
Yeah, I think so. I think he will probably be a central midfielder maybe in 2-3 years. But I do believe right now it's the left wing that is his best position, because it's interesting, and if we talk about inverted wingers, right? So you think he would be good on the right wing? Do you feel that he's too left-footed? I always get the feeling that he's too left-footed to be a right winger, because when you are an inverted winger, sometimes you need to cut in a right just to keep things going. But he just feels like he's too left-footed. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know if you feel, but I just feel that he's too left-footed. So therefore,
but then that's what Pep does, right? He kind of puts people in a very the players themselves in a very uncomfortable position. Like, who would have Grealish is playing on the left and Foden's playing on the right? I'm like, did people look at the starting 11 the opposite way or stuff? What happened here? But then that's how Pep is. Pep likes to develop players in that sense. He likes to push them in a fashion which allows them to grow, because it's just going to benefit the player, and also gives Pep the options to move and rotate around. It's not that he does not allow Foden to go on the left and Grealish to come on the right. They do kind of change every 15-20 minutes. Like if the momentum is not there, if they're not able to create a lot, they do keep moving players around. And so, but then Foden is he is a proven goal scorer eventually. He can play anywhere on that pitch in the front three, or as a midfield on the right, or also the false number 10, in a way. 9. He has played that false number 9. He has played that position, and he can pitch in for De Bruyne sometimes, or and that's what Foden brings to City.
Yeah, I just wonder, we talk about Grealish. I almost feel like he played on the right to accommodate Grealish on the left. That's what I think. And therefore, then the question is, does he drop him from Mahrez? Because I think Grealish should be dropped from Mahrez for the next game at least, I think. I don't know if he'll do it. I think Pep's stubborn enough to try to make it work, but we'll see what happens. I wonder, can I say a false 10? What is a false 10? Is he a defensive midfielder? Is he a defensive midfielder is he a number 10 who then drops into a defensive midfielder? Is that what a false 10 is? I wonder. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments what a false 10 would be.
What is more amazing in this City is to bring on the last match we saw against West Ham. We had Cancelo, and Cancelo was almost in the midfield. He was playing next to Rodri. So we are now talking about inverted defenders, not even fullbacks. But then it's more actively being used. So I'm this was just amazing to watch.
Yeah. I mean, what if fullbacks? That would be a thing. Sorry, Gaurav.
Yeah, I think Pep, did that to nullify the. I mean, West Ham were playing really, really compact. So, the only way to break that kind of defense, and they were really organized as well. So, the only way to break that kind of defense is if you have really good wide wingers, which we don't really have. I mean, we have inverted wingers right now. So, other thing is you could, ask your fullbacks to come more compact. So, basically, their defenders and their fullbacks have to go out of position. So,
Yeah, I
that
think
leaves
it's
a little bit of space on the wings.
Yeah, it's probably an overload in midfield and stuff. I mean, we spoke about that game, and I was a little bit disappointed with how West Ham approached that game because they almost seemed to like cede the initiative to City and really do whatever you want. As long as you don't score. It was a weird game to watch. But anyway, we'll move on from City because we've got other things to talk about as well. Knayha, do you think Cristiano Ronaldo will start the next game against Brentford? Do you think he should? Do you think he will? If he does, out of that front four, talking Eriksen, Bruno, Rashford, and Sancho, who do you think comes out of that front four if Ronaldo does start?
I think Rashford comes out in my mind. I think Rashford is a clear one. And like Sancho didn't do amazing, but then Sancho was not center, was not on the left where the chances were almost created. So I think if Ronaldo comes in, and I think Ronaldo will start this game because I think he's just slow because of his the personal issues and so on, and starting the preseason pretty late. So getting the 45 minutes in, I think Ten Hag was pretty happy with him, and he has had to make peace with the fact that he's not leaving, and he's going to be here. So I think he starts now. Rashford needs to get, I think will be dropped. But then that's an easy switch. Like till Martial doesn't come back, I think that's what Erik Ten Hag will be playing around with. But then when Martial comes back, he realizes how amazing he is, then he might have to do something more.
Yeah. What do you think? Would you take off Rashford from Ronaldo, or would you take someone else off? Now that front four, I guess.
Definitely Rashford. I think he missed a couple of chances in the last game, and I think he looked both him and Martial looked good in the preseason games, but don't know what happened.
They
What
stopped
really
playing B
happened?
teams and they started playing A teams. That's what happened. They stopped playing the B teams and the C teams. That's what happened. You know what? Conventional wisdom does say that we Bruno Fernandes, because Bruno I thought was abysmal in that game, and I think you look at maybe Eriksen and Bruno with the number 10 and 9 right in that game. So you probably want to take one of them off. You can't take off Eriksen. You should probably take off Bruno. I would agree with Marcus Rashford being taken off because that would be my pick as well. Take Marcus Rashford off, play Bruno on the left because he just doesn't look like he wants to be there. Plus with all the PSG stuff happening. What I think could happen now that I think about it is he might take off McTominay and go, right, I'm going to play a three of Bruno, Eriksen, and Fred,
Yeah,
and then I'll keep.
that's what I was going to say, right?
Yeah,
Maybe
that's
United should shift to a 4-3-3, similar sort of formation that City play.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, he's been trying to play a 4-3-3, 4-2-3-1 hybrid anyway. I think I might just switch to a 4-3-3. I don't know. That's the solution, and that might be an easy one to do as well. You take McTominay, bring him back Ronaldo. You do that. But yeah, whatever he does though, it's just weird. Again, I don't want to make it a United centric show, but it'd be interesting to see how he starts tomorrow because whatever he's got to pick the right team because people will just get upset otherwise. So yeah, that could be an option. So now that I think about it, they got McTominay, bring in Ronaldo. But will he want to take off McFred? I don't know. Let me know in the comments. What do you think? Yeah, it's just that's a difficult one, isn't it? We'll carry on though. Chelsea against Spurs. That's a big game, obviously, for this weekend. It's on Sunday, and we saw Chelsea were a little bit. They got. I thought they were lucky to get the 3 points. I don't know what you think about it. I just thought they were lucky to get the 3 points. Spurs did pretty well. Got a nice 4 goals. Do you think Spurs can make a statement if they beat Chelsea? Being like, yeah, we're gonna get top 4, maybe even be like dark, sort of like the best of the rest kind of team. Do you think that it's an opportunity for Spurs to make that statement if they beat Chelsea? I know it's very early, but
yeah, it definitely is. I think Spurs have a really, really good team right now, and they've got some depth as well. Plus, they also have a really good manager. The hype around Arsenal this season because of the signings they've made and the way they have been playing in the preseason, I think Spurs have gone under the radar. I think they are a really, really good team. And if you compare the team to Chelsea right now, I think Chelsea have a lot of holes to fill right now in their team. I think they need at least 3-4 more signings. Definitely, it's not going to happen, but at least I think they need a striker because Pulisic is also, I think, is on his way out. There are rumors about him leaving as well.
yeah, Ziyech as well.
Werner,
Yeah.
Ziyech as well. Werner has left. They literally are. If they think they are going to depend on Sterling for scoring goals, then
But somebody thinks he's worth more than he's the biggest most key player for City in the last 5 years. That's what somebody thinks. But a pointed reference there. But yeah, I mean, yeah, Sterling is probably not the one to rely on, is it, for goals?
And I think he's sort of player who plays. He's at his best when he's playing alongside a really good forward. Even when he was at City, he played really when he was playing alongside Aguero on the try wing or the left wing. But Chelsea don't have a player like Aguero or even any proven striker right now, so that could be an issue.
Yeah. Somebody got a text. Is there a transfer rumor coming around? No, on the phone now. Somebody's phoning out. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, the talking strikers. I'm Chelsea getting for Aubameyang. I know it's not a transfer show, but they're in for Aubameyang. Does it feel like the sort of profile that you want to? And Barcelona will probably like going. Well, we're gonna get 10 million pounds for a player that we signed for free. Is that the kind of profile of striker that Chelsea need at the moment?
It's not about. It's again going back to what Tuchel said. Basically, he knows him, and he can and there's a relationship right now. Sterling can't score goals alone, and that's known. Chelsea is in a kind of a rebuild. They will struggle this season to kind of get their act together. So I think the Spurs Chelsea game is pretty much nailed on Spurs winning. It's just about how much, in my mind. But then the main thing is Aubameyang is known to Tuchel. Tuchel knows him. He trusts him in a way. And Aubameyang wants to prove Arsenal fans wrong. He basically wants to be like, hey, you let go of an amazing striker. He is an amazing striker, but then it's what, like, there are 3 weeks left in the market, or but they're not talking to a lot of players now. The market is now settling down in a way. The deals that were supposed to happen, the big ones, have been done by the big clubs, like without a hassle or something. But then the ones that are still up in the air, with Barcelona leading the pack of kind of being up in the air and talking still, I think it's not about it doesn't make sense. It's just about Tuchel needs a striker, and Aubameyang gives him that out-and-out striker who he can play with Sterling. And I think at this moment they need that more than kind of looking at who is the future.
Look at the present as well. There surely must be strikers in the present would be better than Aubameyang. But anyway, maybe not. Maybe not. I mean, they have spent a lot of money, of course, and they want to spend a little bit more. So yeah, we'll keep an eye on that. We'll go in kind of come into the end before we get into predictions, but get a little bit out of the top 5 for a second. Do you think Newcastle are dark horses for a top 6 spot? I mean, I was impressed with the way they played against. I think was it against Bournemouth, or was it Nottingham Forest? I can't remember. But I think it was Nottingham Forest, right? That they played against, yeah. And so do you see them as someone that could perhaps challenge for a top 6 spot? And by top 6, I probably mean 6, but still, do you think they could do that?
I think so. I think they have been brilliant. Even they were really good in the last 4 or 5 months of the last seasons as well, and they have a really good manager, and they have made some really smart signings. I mean, they don't really have a really big squad, but there's some quality there. I think they could be what West Ham were a couple of seasons ago. Fighting for the 6th spot or even the Europa League. So I think definitely they have a chance to finish in the top 6. Especially, if you look at other teams like Leicester, they haven't made any signings, and I think they are going to sell some of their top players as well. So that 5th, at least 6th and 7th spot is definitely up for grabs.
Yeah, it's a bit vacuum there, because if you think about it, Leicester a bit off. West Ham didn't really quite impress me as much. Maybe I'm wrong. They didn't. Brighton always seemed to flatter to receive. And Villa, I don't know what's going on with Aston Villa. I mean, they seem to have all the players that they need, and yet somehow they can't put it all together. So there's definitely a vacuum there for that 6th.
But it's too early I feel that it's one of the first game week. You're trying to new players in. You're trying to find a new system for other clubs. But definitely what's been like Newcastle has had a lot of players that they bought last season still continue. So they have had a lot of time with Eddie Howe and try to kind of understand how they want to play and so on. So that was pretty nice to see Newcastle kind of being up there and playing well. But it's still, in my mind, I think that top 10 will be their goal. Like from almost saving a relegation to being in top 10 will be the goal for the season. And then they build, because then they can get better players, they can improve the goal. Like right now, the players they have are not top 5, like top 6 finishers. They have players who have all generally finished around 5 to 10 in the Premier League history. So it's much more. It just takes a little more not spending, but then getting that quality of players, like when they sign like a Jesus or somebody from a top 4, and then that club kind of starts thinking about top 6.
Yeah, I think the forward line is a bit of an issue, but who knew Joe Linton could be a good midfielder? Wasn't signed to play there, but he plays it. All right, let's get into a little bit of a score. Sorry, Gaurav, you want to say something? Or,
No.
Cool. Let's get into predictions then. Let's start with the first one. We've got the first game. We've got Arsenal against Leicester. Gaurav, we'll start with you. What do you think is going to happen? Arsenal, Leicester.
I think 2-1 to Arsenal.
Who's going to score the goals for Arsenal?
Saka and Jesus.
And so there. Cool. Nice. Knayha, what do you think?
I think Arsenal, but Arsenal will score, but then it'll be a draw in my mind. Leicester need to they will have to put up a statement. Otherwise, if they lose this game, then basically everybody knows that they're kind of not going to even, they're not going to finish in top 15. They're basically going to be then fighting for relegation now, maybe. But if they kind of want to kind of make a statement, I think, yeah, that's what I think it's going to be a 1-1 draw.
Yeah.
But Jesus scoring maybe for Arsenal. He has to open his account.
I think with 3-1 to Arsenal. It's at home. I can't see Arsenal losing. They seem to be on riding a wave of momentum right now. All or nothing, right? They're going for all this year after nothing last year. So the 3-1. I think with 3-1 to Arsenal, I think it would be a nice little atmosphere. First home game as well for Arsenal this season. So yeah, so I think. All right, let's move on.
Whenever we think they're not going to lose, they'll lose that game. Arsenal.
Well, we can only offer our insights. We can't. We are not the ones who play the game, right? So we just go with what we have. So anyway, but 3-1 to Arsenal as well. I go Manchester City, Bournemouth. I mean, Gaurav, how many goals are Manchester City going to score? Because I know they're going to win, but how many goals are they going to score? That's the question, isn't it?
I think it's going to be 4-0. Another brace for Haaland.
A brace. Okay.
I think it just depends on from when they start scoring, actually. Like if it's the first 10 minutes, then we are up for a 7-goal exponenza or kind of something like extravaganza and stuff and so on. But then I feel that, yeah, it could be it's a high scoring game in my mind.
Give me a score.
5-0.
5. Okay, I see your 4. I see your 5. Okay, 4.5. No, I don't think City do 6-0. I think 4-0 sounds about right. 4-0, and only because City will slow down after they score 2 or 3. Not that they can't score 6 or 7, I think they'll slow down. But I think Haaland will get a hat-trick, not a brace. I'll go. I see your brace, Gaurav. I raise it by 1, and I say he'll score a hat-trick. That's what I think will happen. Because he might get a brace if Guardiola decides the 60 minutes that Haaland please come off and just let Alvarez have a go. So that's the only reason why I think he might only score 2 goals, but he plays the full 90. I think he gets a hat trick. But 4-0, that's what I'm going with. We know City are not going to concede though. That's something. So yeah, fairly simple win there. Easy ones, easy predictions, right? So far. We'll do this one as well just for fun. Brighton, Newcastle, because Brighton played well, Newcastle played well. They're playing each other. This is fun. Knayha, what do you think?
I think Brighton will again trump them. Brighton are one of those teams who kind of sustain their performance after a big game. Newcastle generally has not. If they win a big game, they generally slump in form. But then Brighton has that, they maintain there. So I think they're going to win it 2-1.
2-1. Gaurav?
I think it will be a 1-1 draw.
I was going to say the same. I think it's going to be a 2-2 draw. I'll go 2-2, but I think it's going to be a draw as well. Yeah, it's just a draw written over it because it's 2 teams that are in form, doing really well, overachieving mid-table sides, and it's probably going to be a draw. So yeah, Gaurav and I kind of in sync right now. Yeah, it's getting almost the same results. We might not agree on the quality of Manchester City squad, but we agree on the results so far. So cool. Brentford against Manchester United. I think this one why we might disagree though. But let's start with you, Gaurav, for this one. Brentford, Manchester United. What do you think is going to be the score?
It's a very tough one.
Imagine Brentford. It's a tough one to predict. What world are you living in? But yeah, yes.
I have a feeling, Rohit, Ronaldo coming back to the squad, and I think it will be 2-1 to United.
Okay. Knayha?
I think it's going to be a draw, 1-1.
Okay, go ahead.
It is basically going to be like United score, but then at the end of it, they'll bottle it up because Brentford won't stop pushing and there'll be a mistake or something, and then it'll be a draw.
Yeah, I see your 2-1 victory. I see your 1-1 draw. I go with a 2-1 defeat for Manchester United. That's what I'm thinking. But you know what? I'll caveat this by saying it depends on what team he picks. If Erik Ten Hag is picking Maguire, Shaw, McFred, if he's picking those guys, he's definitely going to lose. if he doesn't pick them, there is a chance that they might win. And just the lift that it will give the fans that are traveling, the players, for not having those guys in there, it might make a difference. But I don't know. This will be, I think, the most important game of Ten Hag's reign. Because if he doesn't pick them, if he still continues picking the same players, I think it might be a short manager to anyway. That's a conversation for another day. But yeah, 2-1 is what I'm thinking. I think it's just a bad place to be right now, isn't it? The Manchester United. But anyway, 2-1 to Manchester United, my prediction. So the streak is broken. But all right, Chelsea Tottenham. Knayha, what do you think? Chelsea at home, by the way. So yeah, just for this, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the only thing that I'm giving them, that they will score a goal, but then Spurs will kind of. I think it's going to be a 3-1 to Spurs.
Got it?
I'll go the same, 3-1 to Spurs.
I'm different. I think Chelsea, the one thing that you can count on Chelsea, the fact that they can't score goals and they can save goals. So I'm actually thinking it's going to be a draw or it's going to be a 1-0 win to Spurs. I can't decide which one it will be. It will be a 0-0 draw or a 1-0 to Spurs. I'll go 1-0 to Spurs because Conte is, I have a little bit of faith in Conte. I just think that Chelsea have a good defensively, so they're not going to get overrun as easily. But the real problem is in goal scoring, and I don't know if they'll be able to score a goal. So 1-0 to Spurs is my guess, but we'll see.
It also depends on who starts as well in defense, because there was a lot of hamstrings and a whole lot of stretching at the end of the people almost like the whole defense was down. Koulibaly.
It was a 100-year-old defense.
Exactly. I'm like, that's what I'm thinking about. I'm like, so he'll know that they're already limited on fitness in some sense. So that's the reason why I feel that's the reason why Spurs were like full of energy. There was no moment like we've seen those preseason trainings where people falling after running 60 minutes or something and so on. But in Chelsea, defense was like crumbling with cramps and hamstrings and touching and kind of feeling their hamstrings in a way. So I think that's one of the reasons why I feel the fitness level is still going to take some time for Chelsea to pick up in a way. But then that's the reason why I think Spurs will kind of have an easy go at that.
Yeah, that's a very good point actually. Yeah, no, maybe I might have to change my prediction, but no, I'll stick with it for now. But that's a good observation actually. Maybe it was just that fact that it was the first match of the season. It takes time to get fitness. Maybe they have worked on it. Don't know. But yeah, it's definitely. But all the other, I think most of us agree that it's probably going to be a Spurs win. So that's something. And by the way, Sudan might mention that it's Anthony Taylor's referee. He's already got the conspiracy theory book out, but I don't know if that's going to make an impact, but we'll see. Liverpool Crystal Palace, your prediction for that one, last one?
Liverpool really didn't look that good in the last game. Right. So I think again a 2-2 draw.
2-2 draw. Wow.
For them.
Okay. Knayha, what do you think?
I think Liverpool's going to come back and they're going to show and stomp their authority in some way, because they have to after, like, Nunez has to, in my mind. Like, I think the guy most pumped right now with this battle going forward with Haaland is Nunez, and he will be like, he'll be like, just get me on that pitch. I want to prove. And what was very interesting to see against Fulham in a way was like Salah was almost not central anymore. He was on the right. He was like he kept there, and he assisted eventually Nunez for the first goal. But then the second goal was just a luck, and then he touched and Salah scored. But I think Klopp doesn't. He will be really. He would want a reaction. Liverpool generally after such a match, when the first game after the Community Shield in a way, they would have like, what happened to us? Thiago, I don't know what's his injury status right now. Is he out
for a month? He's out for a month. Yeah.
So I guess so that but then
Elliot,
Harvey Elliott is there, so they don't have a problem there. So I think it's going to be, but then it's Liverpool. I think they will win comfortably, and Salah will kind of do what he does best here. He'll prove why he's still the most liked or loved player in Liverpool. And kind of because he has to. He was given a big contract as well. He has to prove himself again in a way. He almost feels like a new signing with Nunez, and like that combination has to work. So I feel that Liverpool will kind of stomp them 4-1 in my mind.
4-1. Oh, okay. I'm gonna go with 3-0, and the reason why I go 3-0 is I don't think Crystal Palace did that against Arsenal. I don't think I know a lot of people said they had that big mini period where they came up against Arsenal, but I don't think they did enough for me to believe that they can trouble Liverpool. So I think Liverpool will have a comfortable win against Palace. They generally seem to do well against Palace anyway. So Yeah, I think it's one of those teams, isn't it? So anyway, yeah, I think it'll be
Salah has never scored in second game week ever in the Premier League. It's a streak actually. For last 5 years, he's never scored a goal in the second.
He's then that means he has to break that streak then. Just for
you're embodying Nishikant, embodying others. Like you're stealing other people's gimmicks. I'm just saying, yeah, somebody might put a copyright claim on the stealing gimmicks. But it's an interesting stat, though. I didn't know that he hasn't scored for the last 5 years in the second game week.
Yeah, I just saw that on a official FPL page that he has never scored in the second game week.
Yeah, well, that's an FPL pick for you guys, though. If you want to pick Salah or not, make that decision based on that particular stat that God has given us. But yeah, I mean, he doesn't need to score, though. That's the beauty of having Diaz and Nunez and the others. He doesn't need to score, so you can just get a couple of assists. So yeah, so I'm not going to change my prediction, but that's a very interesting stat. Thank you, Gaurav, for that. All right, so we're done with the predictions. One final prediction. That's not a game prediction, though. We'll ask you, Gaurav, to start off with this one because this is not Premier League related at all. So apparently, Barcelona will have to leave out 2 players from their weekend squad that they cannot sign. Who do you think the 2 players are going to be, Gaurav? If you were Barcelona, what are the 2 players that you would have to leave out?
I think Christensen and Kessie.
Those are the 2 you leave out? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah. Knayha, would you go with that? Imagine that, leaving out your 2 big free agents.
I think they're going to leave out Depay in my mind.
Oh no, they can't leave him out though. They have to.
No, but then like they have to. Like, but then he'll kind of go in. I think, but
they cannot register 2 of their new signings. So that's from the new signings. So Depay is not a new signing, so he'll be there anyway. You gotta look at the 2 new signings.
So unless he leaves in a way, right? Unless he leaves and then they can still register him. And still register one of them, but then
but I don't think he's gonna leave in the next 2 days. That's highly unlikely. And then, because they got to register today, right? So I don't think they're
by midnight or something. So I think
they have activated the 4th lever, and haven't they?
Yeah, but that means that they can now register 4. I think they made 6 signings. They can register 4, but they have to leave out 2. So that's the thing. So yeah, out of the 6 new signings, who would you leave out?
I think Christensen and Kessie. That's the most simplest options in a way.
Poor guys, they came on free transfers and everybody wants them to be left out. No, yeah, I mean it does make sense in some ways. You can't leave out Lewandowski, would you leave out Conte? They probably need Conte as well. And Rafinha has been pretty good. And Dembele's got to be registered again. So yeah, they probably want to keep that. Yeah, I guess it's the obvious one, isn't it? Because I guess they have enough defensive options and midfield options. Yeah, sad, but logically you guys are right. It is probably going to be Christensen and Kessie. You know what? Somebody could sign them up. They apparently have an escape clause. So yeah, somebody could bring them in. But anyway, on that note, let me know in the comments. What did you think about all the things that we spoke about? Did you have something that you want to look out for this weekend as well? Let me know. Always happy to hear your thoughts, of course. Thank you so much, Gaurav. Thank you so much, Knayha, for joining me on the show, sharing your thoughts. It was nice and fun. I like that Gaurav's got this whole gimmick of like stealing other people's gimmicks now. And again, it's like just it's wonderful. But thank you. I really appreciate you. It's very great to have you. Yes, and thank you so much for watching. Do remember to smash a like for Gaurav and for Knayha if you enjoyed the insights. And do subscribe to our channel on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook. We appreciate your support. Got a few there's a lot of games coming up this weekend and we're doing match reactions for that. And so if you subscribe, you get notified for when those videos drop. So please do that. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.